Woohoo! Someone wants to buy your house. You may be thinking to yourself, I accepted an offer on my house. Now what? That's what we'll talk about next. Hi, I'm Kelly Vandever. I'm a real estate agent in the Atlanta, Georgia area with Keller Williams, North Atlanta. Congratulations, you accepted an offer on your house. Now what? There's still a lot of work to be done. It's important to understand what those responsibilities are once you go under contract or go binding. Those are words that we use in the real estate business, but it basically means that you have some obligations in order to honor the contract that you're under to sell your house. In the purchase and sale agreements that are used in the state of Georgia, there's a phrase in there that says time is of the essence. There are deadlines that are part of that contract, and as the seller, you need to do your part to comply with those dates in order to make the contract remain valid. If you miss some dates, it doesn't necessarily mean that the contract is void, but it means it can be voided if the other party wanted to void it. And what we're trying to do is sell your house, so we don't want the contract to become voidable. If you're feeling pressure to get things done after you go under contract, you probably are, because as a real estate agents, we're working to make sure all those deadlines are met. One of the important ways that the deadlines are met is that you make your home available for the home inspection and for the appraisal. I have a feeling that as I get into the details of the home inspection and the appraisal that I could get a little long-winded, so I'm going to break this up into a couple of different recordings. So first, let's talk about the home inspection. The real estate agent that is working with the buyer will coordinate with the real estate agent that's representing the seller to set up a time for the home inspection. Don't be surprised if that home inspection is the day after you sign the contract or within 2 days after signing the contract. It goes back to that time is of the essence. If there is a due diligence period, that's that period that the buyer could change their mind about buying the house. So they want to get the home inspection done, make sure that there's no issues that you guys can't work out. So that's why you'll see the home inspection be scheduled very close after you sign the contract. And it's not just about getting the home inspection done. They have to get the report back. They have to review the report and see what issues come up. I advise my clients to mentally prepare with the idea that they may have to spend $2,000, maybe more, depending on the size of the property. They may have to spend additional money to address things that come up in a home inspection. Of course, as things are going on today, the seller has a lot more leverage, especially if you had multiple offers on the table or if you had a backup offer. And we'll talk about that in another video too. I also advise my clients to be prepared just in case there's something that comes up in the inspection report that they're going to have to address regardless of who buys the house. Obviously, if you have multiple offers and there's a small thing that they're asking for, you can say no. But if it's something major, like one of the HVAC systems isn't working or there's mold found in the basement, those things are going to need to be addressed regardless of who's buying the house. Okay, so you could have issues that you need to address regardless of who buys the house. You could have things that come up that seem important to the buyer and they want to have them addressed. You may look at them and think some are reasonable and maybe you'll do it. You may look at them and say, nope, not reasonable, or there's enough other people that want to buy the house. I'm not going to budge on this particular item. That's all part of the negotiation. Talk it over with your real estate agent. They've got the expertise, they've got the experience. They can help you navigate through your particular situation to come up with what makes the most sense. Plus, your agent can have some ideas about how to address the issues that have come up that maybe haven't occurred to you. So be sure and talk it over with your agent. If you do decide to make some repairs based on the home inspection, then one of the real estate agents will draw up an amendment to the purchase and sale agreement. Everybody will sign it, and some new dates might come into play and new commitments on your part to make those repairs. Once everything's signed, copies will go to the closing attorney, and they're also going to make sure that those things get executed on. Again, time is of the essence. A lot of times in those amendments, it will say we need to see a copy of the receipt that the item has been repaired or been replaced. Getting through the home inspection, getting through the negotiations as a result of the home inspection, that's a major part of what needs to happen after you accept a contract, after you accept an offer to sell your house. The next hurdle to get through is the appraisal. And because of some things going on in the market right now, I'm going to take a little more time to talk about that, but we're going to do it in the next video. For a guide on the overall process flow in selling your house, follow the link below. If you'd like some help selling your house in the metro Atlanta area, I'd love to work with you. Please reach out.